Parveen, respected Vice Chancellor IUD, Dr. Haragopal Reddy sir, Honorable Registrar sir IUD, Brigadier Rajiv Sethi sir, our Dean IBS, Dr. Anand Bethapudi sir, my faculty members of IBS department, resource person of the day, and dear students. I wish a happy afternoon to everyone, those who are joining us from different parts of India and abroad. A sound updated knowledge plays a variety of roles within and outside of the classroom to shape the future of our students. I believe this day one session on green economy and finance as part of 1 week international lecture series on paradigm shift in business process management, the way forward from 30th September to 70th of September 2021, organized by ICFI Business School, the ICFI University, Dehradun, will help all of us to gain more insights about changing dimensions of business process management. Today, I would like to welcome the speaker of the event, Dr. Mustafa Raza Rabbani sir from University of Bahrain. Welcome you, sir. Dr. Mustafa Raza Rabbani sir holds a PhD in Banking and Financial Services from the prestigious Jamia Millia Islamia University by Central Act, New Delhi. His research areas are financial technology, means fintech, and its potential application in Islamic finance and banking industry, integrated halal economy with the Islamic finance, and exploring the possibilities of Sharia compliances with cryptocurrency. Dr. Rabbani is a passionate researcher, and in the last 2 years only, he has published more than 30 peer-reviewed research papers in the International Journal of Repute, published by Emerald, Elsewhere, Springer, IndaScience, and Index in Scopa Web of Science and ABDC also. He is serving as an assistant professor at Department of Economics and Finance, University of Bahrain. Prior to this, he has been associated with Kingdom University, Bahrain, Jamia Millia Islamia Central University in New Delhi, Saudi Electronic University, Saudi Arabia as an assistant professor, lecturer, course coordinator, and program coordinator. Over to you, Dr. Anand Bethapudi, Dean IBS, sir.
Yeah, greetings to you all, the respected my colleagues, IBS faculty members, Dr. Muhammad Imran, Dr. Deepthi Kiran ma'am, and our Dr. Rashmi Chaudhary, Dr. Puneet Gupta, and all our Saurabh Kumar, so and other faculty members, and my dear students, and welcome to Dr. Mustafa Raza Rabbani. So really it's a great honor and pleasure to participate this international conference lecture series, which is initiated by our IBS. So it is the first time in IBS Dehradun. We want to have a 1 week all lectures from foreign lectures only. It may be USA or it may be Bahrain. So total lecture series, the topic also selected paradigm shift in business process management, the way forward. So today's lecture, green economy and finance. So in relatively, just now we had a meeting with Times of India, Times Pro. So Dr. Muhammad Imran has arranged a meeting with them. So in coming days, we are going to have a certificate program, 3-month certificate program in banking and also logistics supply chain management, Finacle, and SAP. So really it's a coincidence. So Mustafa Rabbani, Raza Rabbani is also expert in finance. And today we had a meeting with Times Pro. So Bailey was Dr. Muhammad Imran is giving introduction about Dr. Mustafa Raza. He has done very good research in banking sector and financial management. So most welcome, sir. So whenever you come to India, please visit our Dehradun IBS campus. You are most welcome. You can interact with our faculty members and you can share your knowledge with our students and you can share your research papers. And one more thing, sir, I want to welcome you. We are planning in the month of November and December, 15 days international research summit. Every day, all research papers or PhD people. They can present their outcomes of research. 15 days continuously International Research Summit we are planning. So I hope you also join with us in that November, December, and you can present your research findings also, so that our students, ultimately the students of our IBS Dehradun, they should get knowledge, exposure, expertise from different professors, industry experts, so that they can improve their skills, knowledge levels, capabilities. They can be able to face any challenge faced by either industry or academics. So this is our ultimate goal. So we are so happy that our students are expressing their feedback every day. I'm getting feedback. They are so happy with the activities which are going on in our IBS campus. So without taking much time, I congratulate the coordinators, Dr. Muhammad Imran and also Dr. Deepti Kiran, for taking pain and also time and putting efforts and coordinating with guest speakers, the department, and also the students to make this function a grand success. So wish you all the best. Good day.
Thank you, Dr. Anand. I really appreciate your words and your insightful thoughts regarding the paradigm shift in business process management. I think I must congratulate you for choosing such a dynamic topic. This is really a good topic, and our students, especially in India, they need it thoroughly to understand the paradigm shift, because if they are going to the employer, they will ask for the changing dynamic of the business. And it's changing. It has changed, leaps and bounds in the last few years. Since research in finance and research in financial services, I have observed what we were taught 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or maybe even 6 years ago, is not valid today, because the dynamics of business have changed drastically. The functions have changed drastically, and the last 10 years have been the most dynamic, the most changing, the ever growing dynamics, or ever changing dynamics in the business. And for that reason, our students need to understand, because of the evolvement of either the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or maybe and recently the pandemic, it has changed completely the dynamics of the business. And when our students are going to the market to get a job, they must have the knowledge of these changing dynamics. So congratulate you, Dr. Muhammad and Dr. Deepti, and of course, Dr. Anand, for choosing such a dynamic topic. As far as I'm concerned, as you have already introduced, I have a very good association with Dehradun, actually. I have been in Dehradun for 1 year. I worked with IMS Unison University. After submitting PhD, I went to Dehradun. They invited me for an assistant professor role. So I worked around 1 year. The first job I had in Dehradun. So I have very fond memories of Dehradun, Mussoorie, and Makwana Hills. And of course, if you live in Dehradun for 1 year, you feel like you should not go away from there. But
Sir, I want to add one thing, sir.
Yeah.
I joined here July 20th as a dean. So there is a doubt from my family and myself whether this fellow will be there either 1 week itself. Now I decided I want to retire in Dehradun itself.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying. This is what I have observed there in IMS. Like everyone who comes to Dehradun, they feel like it's their home. And the people of Dehradun, oh my God, they are really good. They are really, so embracing, and they're like good people that you don't want to leave them. And you are at a very good place. I have been to your campus before during my stay in Dehradun. It was really good. I hope it must have improved even better. So as far as my research area is concerned, I started publishing last 2 years actually. I started my first paper in 2022. And before, after PhD, I was a little relaxed. I was not publishing. Then some of my friends advised me, if you want to stay in academic and you want to grow as an academician, you should have a very sound publication and very sound research background. Then I started it. Now, as Dr. Muhammad has said, I have around maybe 35 papers in ISC journals and some of them in Impact Factor and all good journals. Alhamdulillah, all thanks to my colleagues and friends like you, I have been contributing to the research. So my main area of research is actually the fintech. I have been working on fintech, and of course I have worked on green economy since today's topic is green economy. So how can I share my slides? Can you guide me? Or I have already sent to you, Dr. Muhammad, if you can share it.
Thank you, co-host, sir.
Dr. Muhammad Imran.
You are already co-host, sir.
So where is the option to share? I have not used Zoom before.
Share his screen,
sir. There is share screen, sir, button. Click that one.
Along with chat, sir.
Yeah, before that one, what you do, sir? Before that one, open the file.
Yeah, share
the file first. PPT, you open it first.
Yeah. Okay.
Open the file. Next, you go to the
screen.
Share screen. Then open it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Wonderful, sir.
Okay, so today our discussion will be revolving around the green economy.
Sir, please keep it on slideshow, sir.
The green economy.
Please keep it on slideshow, sir. F5.
Slideshow or F5. You click F5 also, okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Very nice.
So our discussion will revolve around, and before I started, Dr. Anand, I'm sorry to say, because my lecture was at from Bahrain time 1 to 2 p.m. Then I have 2 to 3 p.m. also lecture. So I'm just sneaking in between. So maybe I will leave you in 40 minutes. Like 2:10. 2:10 means it will be 4:40 Bahrain India time. I cannot delay my lecture more than 10 minutes. So I'm sorry for that actually in advance. Anyway, thank you for inviting me. I will talk about the green economy and financing of the green economy. First of all, being a student, being a researcher or being an academician, we must understand how important is the green economy. It is important in a way that, say, I will give you an example. You know, Bitcoin mining, all of you have heard about the Bitcoin, of course. Bitcoin and mining of Bitcoin costs around energy, the annual energy consumption of the country as big as Argentina. Bitcoin, creating Bitcoin uses energy, electricity, okay? And the energy consumed by Bitcoin, the small Bitcoin, 1 year, the annual energy consumption of mining of Bitcoin is as big as or as huge as the annual energy consumption of the country like Argentina. It means what? It means you are just destroying your future generation. You are just destroying your economy. So by creating something like Bitcoin or these financial resources or financing methods, it is ultimately causing or it is ultimately disrupting the future generation, which is not good. So if you are not taking care of your future generation now, the future generation, your brother, your sister, or maybe your son and grandson will ask you the question, why you did not use the sustainable energy? Why you were not using, doing things which were sustainable for the future? So, and green economy is something like, we are creating an environment, we are creating a culture which is for the future, which is for the future generation. Okay, so our discussion will revolve around that, the green economy, and how these green economy system can be financed. Why I'm telling you, let's say, for example, in India is very much nowadays a corporate-centric economy. So if you are like a corporate, where you would like to invest? You would like to invest in a project which is more profitable rather than a project which is more green, which is supporting the sustainable development. But being a corporate, you are always looking forward to the project which gives more profit, whether it is disrupting environment, whether it is not disrupting, it's not your concern. You always want to invest in a project which is more profitable. And ultimately, for the longer term, for the longer duration, it's not good for the economy. So there's a need. Why I'm telling you, there's a need to have more awareness about the green economy, and there's a need to for the government, for the regulators, for those policymakers to make a policy which gives more benefit, which gives more assistance to those projects which are sustainable and which are supporting the green economy projects. Like India, we have various initiatives by the government to support those kind of projects and ultimately help the green economy. So we'll talk about, these are the outline of my presentation, green economy, green growth, role of financial system in transition to green economy, that 5 principles of green economy step towards green. So these are the, I no need to rush through. I will just rush through these slides. I don't know how I can, but I will cover as much as from this presentation. Okay, so we have green economy, an economy whose growth in income and employment is driven by public and private investment that reduce carbon emission and pollution. When I say green economy, it means the intention is not to make profit. The intention is to make a profit with this sustainable development. When I say sustainable development, it means you are taking care, or you are more concerned with your future generation and yourself. Maybe your growth today looks to you more important because I'm growing, I'm having money, I'm having more things to spend. But if you spend too much, what will happen? It will finish. It's same like for the environment. Same happens for the, if you are using it too much, ultimately it will come to a point where everything will be finished. So when I say green economy, it means you have to invest in those projects which reduces carbon emission, pollution, and enhances energy and resources efficiency and prevent the loss of biodiversity and ecosystem services. So this is all which makes a green economy. So how this can be achieved? It can be achieved through the targeted public expenditure, policy reforms, and regulatory changes. Of course, it cannot be done by the private individuals. When you look at the privates, what happens? You think like, oh, privates are always going towards the profit. That's why I'm not a very big fan of privatization. Maybe some of you are a big fan of privatization, but I'm not. I feel like it's the duty of the government, it's the duty of the government entity to look after the environment, because the private, as nature, when I'm doing a business, my intention will not be sustainable. Why? Because I'm looking for the profit. If I go for the sustainability, I might not be able to survive. I might not be able to compete with the ever-changing, ever-dynamic competition. So it's the government which has the responsibility to make the target expenditure. They have to make the reforms in the policy, and also they have to make some changes in the regulation. So ultimately, the concept, or you can say the idea of green economy is more about the intersection between environment and the economy. So we have to take care of the environment and also the economy. You might have heard around 2-3 years ago, before the COVID, I feel like COVID is a blessing in disguise. Of course, it has a devastating effect. It has a devastating impact on our economy. Of course, we have suffered a lot. We have suffered in terms of monetary as well as the lives. But if you, as a whole, it has some positive aspect also. I will just take you back to the 2 years or 3 years before the COVID. What happened? Like the water level in Karnataka, water level in Tamil Nadu, water level in Bihar, even in Uttarakhand were going down. It was so low that even the hand pipes were not having water. You know what's the reason? And what is happening in some places like the green Pradesh called Uttarakhand, because of the excessive soil erosion, excessive cutting of trees. These things are happening. These things landslide and all these things happening, and ultimately it is taking us to the situation where we are using not using our green resources efficiently, and ultimately it will all cause into the carbon emission and pollution. Carbon emission is actually because of the corporatization of our resources, our places. It is happening. It is resulting into the carbon emission, and ultimately, because of the cutting of the trees in Pradesh like Uttarakhand, it will result into the increased population, and ultimately, we will not be able to achieve what we want to achieve in terms of green economy. I'm happy that you are living in a place which is still a green place or a green economy, and the ideal model for the green economy like the Uttarakhand. But I don't know how far we'll be able to, or whether the governments are taking appropriate measures to safeguard the green economic measures. And I don't know, but we should being an academician, being scholars, we should ask the government, we should request the government to take appropriate measures to safeguard the green economy. So green economy is essentially an inclusive concept comprising economic, social, and the environmental pillars of growth. Of course, when I say green economy, it is actually a more inclusive concept. It means we take into consideration the economic. When I'm saying green economy, it doesn't mean that we are not talking about the profit. No, it's not. I can give you thousands of examples, hundreds of examples where the companies who started with the green concept and they are making billions of profit. No, it's not that you are sacrificing on the profit. No, it's about the inclusive growth. Okay, we are taking into consideration the economic, social, and environmental pillars of the growth. So you are not just a selfish or self-centric approach that you only care about the profit. No, you are taking care of course, the profitability with social and environmental aspect. So ultimately, the objective behind the green economy is, to shared prosperity with the social resilience against future shocks and surprises. So if we are not taking into consideration the current soil erosion or maybe landslides, what will happen? You will have the surprises in future. We have seen many examples. We have seen in the examples of 2013 in Uttarakhand. It happened. Thousands of lives were lost. I think many of our colleagues here listening to me, they are from Uttarakhand. If I ask you one reason, what was the reason for the landslide or the devastation in Uttarakhand in 2013? 2012 maybe? Can anyone recall me? It was in 2012 or 2013? I think it was in 2012 when the major landslide happened and thousands of lives were lost in Badrinath. The reason could be attributed to not taking care of your environment. If you are taking care of environment, the environment will take care of you. If you are not, it means ultimately you will have the shocks and shocking surprises. So the green economy aims at well-being, measured not merely on the happiness index, but in the context of pursuing and achieving the development goals. It promises equity for diversified, sustainable development. Ultimately, it's about the development which is sustainable, a development which is attributed for the future generation. So a green economy aims to improve the environment for the sake of human well-being. This is what I have been stressing on. Investing in environment assets will help us meet poverty goals, reduce hunger and disease, and reduce the incidence of death from pollution. You look at Delhi. I am actually brought up in Delhi. I had my master's in Delhi, MBA, BCom, MCom, PhD, and I have spent the better part of my life in Delhi. When I visit Delhi now, I visited last month, I was in Delhi, and before that I was in Delhi. Can you breathe in Delhi? You cannot breathe properly. If the situation is this much now, can you imagine what will happen after 10 years? Will the people be able to? No, most of the people will have either cancer or either have lung problem. And what's the reason? Reason is only that we are not taking care of our environment. We are not going for the green economy. We are not considering the importance of green economy. I hope the government and the officials in Delhi will take care of it and will heal the environment by taking appropriate measures. Otherwise, the impact or the result could be devastating. So to drive sustainability and growth in parallel, integrate use of natural and physical capital, green growth, global WSS environment requirement for the capital and OM cost $311 billion through 2050. So as per the UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program, there is a need to have $311 billion investment in the green investments and green sectors. So the sector must not only attract more funding, but must reduce inefficiencies to make better use of the limited financial resources available. So now, now that you understand the importance of green economy, the first part of my lecture was more on how important is the green economy. I gave you the example of Uttarakhand, Delhi, and all those, through the what you call COVID and before COVID. Now, can we achieve this before a sustainable financing method, or whether without the help of the financial institutions? Unless our financial institutions, our financial sector contribute to it, or they are dedicated to it, we cannot achieve it. So ultimately, it comes to the financing. I told you, without finance, no businesses can run. And if there's no company or there's no bank who's ready to finance these green projects, how we will survive and how we will do that business? How do we will invest in that business? So ultimately, it's up to the financial institutions, the banks, that will actually streamline the growth in that green economy sector. So this is what we'll talk about. This is the top 5 principles of green economy. That is the justice principle. This is inclusive and non-discriminatory. Inclusive and non-discriminatory means, if you remember, we have been learning about sustainable or balanced regional development. Like whenever we are talking about development, it's not that only the Dehradun must be developed city. There are many cities in Uttarakhand, like Rishikesh, like Haridwar, or like many other parts of Uttarakhand, which equally deserve the development. And so when we say about the justice sustainable, should be taking care of the future generation also. Equitable distribution of opportunities and outcome. Of course, it should be for all. It should be long-term perspective based on solidarity and social justice. I'm not going in detail of that. If somebody wants me to emphasize on a particular point, please let me know so that I can emphasize on it. Because of the shortage of time, I might not be able to emphasize on each point individually. So based on solidarity and social justice, empowerment of MSMEs, when I say medium and small scale industries, then fast and fair transition and covers its cost. So that is the justice principle. That is the first principle we have to follow in order to achieve the principle of green economy, or the target of green economy. The vision of fair green economic future, it should be people-centric. People-centered means, it should not be corporate-centered. It should be people-centered. That's why I'm saying I'm not a big fan of the privatization. I'm a big fan of government taking initiative to make the green economic growth possible. Otherwise, what will happen with the corporate? They will invest in only those projects which are more profitable, whether it is sustainable or not. For them, it's not a matter. Then it focuses on growing wealth. It builds on collective action for public goods, offers opportunity for green and decent livelihoods. Then we have planetary bound principle. It limited subsidiarity of the natural resources, recognizes and nurtures nature's diverse value, invest in protecting, growing, and restoring the biodiversity, soil, water, air. So again, it comes to the example of Uttarakhand, where we had issue in the biodiversity, soil and water erosion. So that caused the problem in 2013 or maybe 12, I don't remember exactly. So the efficiency and sufficiency principle, and inclusive growth economy, green economies, low carbon resource conserving, diverse and circular. And then we have the good governance principle. An inclusive green economy is evidence-based. It's supported by the institutions that are integrated, collaborative, and coherent. So this, for this, what we need to have a good regulation from the government so that they are more integrated and collaborative and coherent. This is what actually you are doing. Let's say calling for a lecture or a seminar or a conference. So it's about integrating our resources. Let's say I don't have the financial resources, but I have the knowledge, I have the information which I can share with you, and I can share with the potential industrialists, potential business people sitting with us, our students. They can use this information to create a greater global green economy. So it builds a financial system with the purpose of delivering well-being and sustainability. Sustainability, of course, role of financial institutions and in transit to the green economy. So how they can, financial institution can contribute towards achieving the objective of green economy. Of course, there can be carbon pricing, carbon pricing or credit and green bonds. So they can issue green bonds. They can issue green. When I say bonds, like, bond is any bond. Okay, bond means any bonds which with having a fixed rate of interest attributed to the investors, which can be paid after a fixed term or after every period. But when I'm saying green bond or green carbon pricing, it means the bonds or the residuals of the bond can only be used for financing the green projects. Okay, so if I ask you, Dr. Deepthi or Dr. Anand or Dr. Muhammad, if I ask you, let's say you have two options: being an academician, being an researcher, you have two options, two bonds with the equal rate of interest. Where you will invest? You will invest in green bond or conventional bond?
Green bond, sir.
Of course, you will go for the green bond because you are knowledgeable, informed. So you will go for the green bond. And for that, what is needed? The most important thing needed is the information or the initiative from our institutions to take those initiatives and inform them, the people, regarding the green economy. So that's how we can. The financial institution can play a big role in the green economy. They can have the greening central policy. The central bank policy must have a policy, like, we have, like, many policies of central government, like central bank, which we call the monetary policy, like carbon capital rationing or capital CRR, IRR, all ratios. They are asking the bank to make. Now, central bank can ask government, can ask the banks to have at least 25%, 30% of green financing. It means you can give loans to 25% or 30%. I don't know whether it is in India or not, but we have in Bahrain, like they are having around 30% capital should be disbursed to only green projects or the certified green projects. In that way, the central bank can have a policy which is directed to the green growth. So promotion of green financial technologies towards 100% renewable energy, climate risk insurance schemes. Yeah, there are climate risk insurance schemes which will, enhance the objective of green economy, then effective transition and international cooperation among financial institutions. And we have different, if you look at the SDG of the UN, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, there are 17 goals which United Nations wants to achieve before 2030, by 2030, and that is directed towards achieving the sustainable or green economy. Now, the financial institution here in India or here in Bahrain, they can align their objectives with the central bank, so that UN SDG, so that they can benefit from the international collaboration, or you can say international integration. That's how we can achieve the objective of green economy, through the international cooperation. There are schemes. It's just that we need to explore, we need to talk to the people, we need to collaborate with the people. This is the green growth, how it will look like. So greenhouse emission must be less. There will be low carbon growth. There will be economic growth, high economic growth. Then we have equitable growth, social development and poverty reduction. This is the part of green economy, by the way. Like Indian government is striving to have social development and poverty reduction. I told you, COVID has come with some good and bad news. The good news is that, the bad news is that it has created devastating impact on the social, economical, and the personal life of the people. But the good thing is that it has resulted into low carbon emission. It has resulted into healing the environment. So that's the positive aspect. But ultimately, negative aspect is, around 10 or 120 million people have gone into poverty again. So after 1987, this is the first time where the rate of poverty has increased due to the COVID. So that's the devastating impact, of course, around the globe. I'm not talking about India. Around the globe, poverty has gone up because of the COVID, because of the loss of job, the loss of the employment. So it's a global phenomenon, and we have to live by it. So we have strong communities and habituals, biodiversity and ecosystem goods and services. We have value, natural capital, ecosystem some resilience. So these are all, I told you in the beginning also, this is more of an inclusive concept than just achieving the green growth. No, when I say green growth, it includes all these factors, climate adaptation and mitigation. So it's more about changing in our lifestyle, our habitats, our overall things. Then only we can achieve the green growth. It's not only we are just moving in one direction and we are ignoring the other. No, that will not result in the green growth. For that, we have to take into consideration all these factors. So green finance flows reaches a record high of $620 billion in 2017. Current investment in green finance falls significantly short of the estimated annual investment. So of course, people or the organizations are moving towards the green growth, but the growth in the green sector is not as much as we would have liked. Just a minute, I have to make changes here because my class is ending.
Sir, I have just texted you in chat box. Please see the chat box, sir.
Yeah.
There is some message for you, sir. Please see the chat box.
Let him complete the lecture, Imran.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First, let him complete the lecture.
Yes, sir.
Later on, they can take the.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Process.
Yes.
Just a minute.
No, you go ahead, sir. You do your work. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting, actually. Since I committed Dr. Muhammad Imran yesterday, and today they have changed the timetable because we had the first week. I think this is the second day of our lecture, like our semester. So the timetable is like volatile, it's not fixed. But today they have changed the time, and my lecture is 4 hours today. So,
okay.
yeah, okay. Thank you for waiting. So, of course, when we talk about the green economy, it's not without challenges. We have our challenges of achieving the green growth and making a transition towards the green economy. And of course, it will have. So, the most important challenges I have listed down here, they are like countries are having short-term policy. They are not looking at, let's say, UNO have made a policy which is 17 sustainable development goals, and they want to achieve it by 2030. They are not saying that we will achieve it in 2022, 2023. No, it should be a long-term, coherent, cohesive policy which will be able to make you achieve what you want to achieve, and it cannot be achieved overnight. So UN is saying we'll achieve by 2030. But when we talk about the governments across the globe, they are trying to achieve it very shortly, and they want the quick result, which is not possible, because the damage it's not been done in 1 year or 2 years. You have taken years, like decades to destroy your environment. Like, we have not been concerned for the green growth over the last 100 years, maybe 200 years. We have not taken any measures. Now, how you will able to heal that in 1 year? It's not possible. You have to make a integrated, you have to make a collaborative, you have to make a sustainable efforts to achieve that, and it cannot be achieved overnight. That's why UN is saying, no, we will achieve it by 2030. Across countries across the globe, they want, and also there is some certain kind of policy changes. Like every year government changes in most of the countries, and what happens, the new government comes with a new regulation and new policies, which makes it difficult for the UN to achieve it, the green growth. So a short-term policy agenda, like countries using short-term tools such as fiscal incentives and feed-in tariffs. Like fiscal policies are always short-term. So if you want to make it, as a habit, you have to make a long-term policy which will be directed towards achieving the green growth, and that should be integration of fiscal as well as monetary measures. It cannot be done overnight. Lack of long-term approach in energy policies, like the energy policies which we have. I can see Indian government have taken a very initiative like the sustainable energy. They are moving towards solar energy and other energies which are sustainable, which can be which can have a positive impact towards achieving the green growth. And we are moving in the right direction, but more effort, more collaborative, integrative effort is needed to achieve that green growth. There are many other limitations, many other challenges which we have to overcome, like policies contain significant inconsistencies. If you look at India, India have like 32 states, and each state have different policy in terms of green growth. The central bank, the central government needs to sit together with them, with each of the government, and they need to sit out and make the policy which is integrated, which is collaborative, okay? So that we are able to achieve what we want to. The many countries have liberalized this market, but has not supported fair competition. Of course, we have liberalized. India was liberalized in 1992. But we need to have more efforts needed to encourage the fair competition. And how it can be done, you know it better. Thorough, appropriate interest regulations and all those factors. I think I will stop here. If you have any question, please go ahead and ask me, so that
Dear students,
I request Professor Anand. I would like to have another session with you, maybe next time in the future, where we can talk more about the green financing and role of financial institutions in green economy. And we can also talk about the fintech, financial technology, which is the most destructive or disruptive technologies coming up for the future generation. We'll talk about that also, if maybe next time in the future. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate your patience and your time for listening me. I don't know how was it, but I tried my best to overcome these challenges and deliver what I could.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think just 2 minutes, sir. Students have any doubts, they can
yes, sir.
clarify the doubts.
Dear students, you can write in chat box if you have some questions. Please type your question. The student sir will take few questions, and he is about to leave. So you can ask some questions. Please write in chat box. Sir is available. And I believe, sir, although try to clear all of your doubts, possible doubts related to green economy and finance.
Yeah, sir, my request is Mustafa RAZA, sir. Please join us for the 15 days International Research Summit, which we are planning in the month of November 18, something like that. Mr. Imran will be contacting with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir,
Please
Sure,
rope in
sure. I
some,
will try to join it.
yeah, please rope in some more professors from other countries also. Okay, sir.
yes.
So if there is some question, sir. What are the challenges to achieve green economy?
Yeah, there are many, Hassan Jamal. There are many challenges, as I listed out. The biggest challenge is the integration among the state governments in India. The biggest challenge is the policy and regulatory challenges. We need to, we need to focus on longer term plan, longer term policies, rather than having a short term objective and trying to achieve it. No, I told you, we have destroyed our environment in decades. It took a century to destroy it. How you will heal it in 1 year or 2 years? So we must have the long-term plan. That's lacking actually.
Yes, sir. Sir, another question is there.
That's many other challenges.
Yes, sir. Another question.
Yes.
How do you convince?
How do you convince companies to follow green financing? I told you, Dhananjay Roy, Devanjana Roy. Okay. I told you, green economy doesn't mean, green financing doesn't mean that you are sacrificing your profit. There are many companies, you just go through some of the researches which we have carried out, just list out the green economy, green financing. You will see companies have performed better during the COVID or before the COVID with the green financing. It's not about that. It's about creating the awareness. It's about, making the commitment that I will go for the green. If you are able to do that, you will be able to achieve it. Otherwise, it's not about at all that you are sacrificing the profit. No, I feel green, projects are more sustainable and more profitable also. Is it clear, Devanjana?
Yes, sir. She has written in the chat box, sir. She understood.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Respected Dean, sir, with your kind permission, can we go ahead for the vote of thanks, sir? Dr. Anand Betapudi, sir.
Yeah.
Can we go ahead for vote of thanks? Okay.
Yeah,
Suruchi.
please.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Suruchi. Suruchi, I believe you are there. One of our students, Suruchi Temak, is there, sir. Suruchi. Just go ahead for the vote of thanks, Peter.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, perfectly.
Okay. So, afternoon, everyone. I, Suruchi Temak, on behalf of ICFI University, IBS Dehradun, consider it a great pleasure and privilege to address this closing ceremony. And firstly, I would thank our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Mustafa Rabbani, for not only sparing his crucial time, but also enlightening us with his excellent talk on the subject. Thank you, sir, for clearing our concepts and enhancing our understanding to the subject. We will be very delighted to conduct such sessions with you again. And let me take time to thank our Dean, sir, Dr. Anand Betapudi. Without his active support, this activity wouldn't be taking place. And sir, I must say your encouragement has consistently bolstered all our efforts. And now I, on behalf of organizing committee, would convey my deep regards and hearty thanks to the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Y.R. Haragopal Reddy. And I am also thankful to the Registrar, Brigadier Rajiv Sethi. We are very grateful for your encouragement. Next, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Dr. Imran, Assistant Professor at IBS Dehradun, for coordinating such a wonderful event. Sir, such interventions benefits us greatly. And next, I would like to thank Dr. Deepti Kiran for inviting our guest speaker, Dr. Mustafa, and inspiring us to work towards the goal of conducting this event. This vote of thanks would largely be incomplete without expressing my gratitude for the faculty members. And last but not the least, I would like to thank all the students for their participation and cooperation, making this event a resounding success. I thank everyone present here. Thanks for your patience listening. I hope you all had a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Suruchi.
Thank you, sir.
So with this, thank you once again, Dr. Mustafa Rabbani, sir. We will look forward to you. Maybe we'd like to hear you again in next upcoming means some of the events that are listed for our IBS Dehradun in the month of November, December, and so on, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Imran, and thank you, Dr. Deepti, Dr. Anand. I'm really grateful that you invited me for a talk. Inshallah, we will have next meeting soon.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
I really appreciate your kind cooperation and kind
Thank
words.
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
See you, inshallah.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mustafa, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, dear students, thank you very much. You can exit now. Parveen, sir, you can end the meeting now.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, sir.